Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Thompson, thank you for being here. Generals Kurilla and Langley, thank you for being here and for your service. I want to start by asking you the same question I've asked every combatant commander that has come before HASC this year. In your opinion, has the space-based threat from China and Russia in your theater improved or worsened in the last 5 years?
From a CENTCOM perspective, Russia has actually gone down because they're no longer really in the region where they were basing some of their space-based threats. China has probably increased, but I would tell you Iran has significantly increased.
So overall increased, you would say? Yeah. General Langley?
On the continent app, it has increased, especially down in Namibia, dual-use, state-sponsored type space-enabling capabilities by the CCP.
Yeah, and obviously we're in an open setting here, but can you provide maybe a brief description of how this threat affects your operations, General Kurilla?
I would be happy to do that in a closed session.
Okay, that sounds good. General, same? Okay.
Yes, in a closed session.
Okay, thank you. On another topic, I'm concerned about the nuclear threat from Iran and reports that they rejected the latest proposal for a new nuclear deal from the U.S. And it seems like Iran is hell-bent on having nuclear weapons, which would be a direct threat to the existence of Israel. General Kurilla, in your written testimony, you say, quote, a nuclear-armed Iran would change the Middle East overnight and forever, potentially setting off a regional arms race with catastrophic consequences, unquote. Can you expand on this? What would a Middle East with a nuclear Iran look like?
I think you would see other countries in the region doing everything they could to obtain a nuclear weapon, either development or through purchase, to be able to gain one, to be able to retain deterrence back with Iran.
And how can CENTCOM deter Iran from proceeding with their nuclear development program? How can they strengthen the president's hand at the negotiating table?
I provide a range of options to the president, but I am in all favor of having a negotiated settlement that prevents Iran from getting a nuclear weapon because of the consequences of conflict.
Okay. And then, General Kurilla, what lessons can the U.S. learn from Iron Dome that could be applied to the development of Golden Dome? Do you believe deterrence by denial to be an effective strategy?
It can be. But I would tell you some of the biggest lessons learned is how Israel's defense industrial base works. You cannot even sell a system to the Israeli military, the IDF, that is not open architecture, that will not work with the rest of their systems, so you don't end up with a proprietary system that's standalone. We need systems that can integrate and all talk to each other.
And so Golden Dome should take note of that.
That would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you, General. Ms. Thompson, how does our partnership with Jordan advance peace and stability in the Middle East?
Thank you for the question, sir. I think Jordan, in particular, and our partnership with the Jordanian Armed Forces, not only goes to promote greater burden sharing throughout the region to include countering shared threats that we have, particularly on the terrorism front, but then also weapons and narcotics smuggling and interdiction. They're a really great partner on that. And then UAS and ballistic missile interdiction as well. And I'm sure General Kurilla can provide some more operational specifics, but those are the main pillars of the security relationship that we have with the Jordanians.
General?
They're one of our strongest partners. They're the country I have visited the most when I go to the Middle East.
Okay. Is there any more that the department could do to support Jordanian armed forces?
I think there are things that we can do to strong point Jordan in the counter-UAS. Counter-UAS in Jordan defends both Jordan, U.S. forces, and Israel.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Thompson, after years of neglect by President Biden, President Trump is right to prioritize our Gulf partners. How did his recent visit to the region advance U.S. national security interests?
Thank you for the question, sir. And I would just highlight particularly the deepening of defense partnerships that we have. Not only, I mean, as General Kurilla has highlighted, obviously we have a long way to go on working through the kinks in our FMS process and defense industrial base, but deepening those partnerships to enable greater allied burden sharing, but then also interoperability and empowerment of our Gulf partners to take on more of the responsibility in the region, particularly given normalized relations with Israel for a fair few of them, is a massive step in the right direction for the posture we want to have in the region. And then I would also just highlight the commercial success as well. That's coupled with the defense success, and I think both per President Trump's comments and Riyadh really echo that sentiment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.